We got a little bit of an, I would say, needed pullback on Friday in the markets. The Qs and SPY closing off of all-time highs, really for the first time in a while, guys. This is a healthy pullback that really I have been waiting for. I wouldn't mind a little bit more, but we've got some headlines coming in over the weekend. Saw something about the straight being open. I would say that futures, oil futures, are not really reflecting that, but we did also get the deal to make a deal in China. Now looks to have some progress have been made on that. So if some trade opens up coming out of China, I expect that to move markets, and there was quite a bit of shorts coming into the market on Friday. So if that can start to squeeze out, then guys, we could absolutely go higher. I am not trying to short this market. What I'm waiting for is my process, okay? Patience and process is something I preach a lot here on this channel. And if you've not been here, my main bread and butter model is the triple R: retracement, reaction, and remount. And that first R, we've really not gotten. I like to see, we'll jump into the charts here. This is the SPY. I like to see a close below the 9, and we have not gotten that yet. So if we squeeze out of the gate here today, we're going to have to evaluate that if it happens. Futures is pulling back just a bit. We are under the 9 here in futures. So I would check out high of day, right? Where I would have preferred to have gotten on the SPY here a close below the 9, because we do have a marker basically right there at the 9 over on futures. I might be looking at that as my possible inflection point today if I do choose to add any risk. I am open to adding risk. I would very much like to get involved into this market, but it has been a runaway rally and I have rules, okay? So if we do continue to pull back, guys, I expect people will start talking about bubble and all kinds of things. I saw some people drawing out like invalidations of this move and talking about Wyckoff and so many things, guys. Look, the truth is we have all of these blue lines. We have so many levels that we could pull back, react off of, and then remount that 9 EMA, my short-term trend indicator. And I'm going to initiate new risk if that happens. So we find ourselves bouncing off of this long-term channel high, or this light pullback that we had in the rally up, or previous all-time highs around that 700 area. Guys, I'm not going to say load the boat, okay? Obviously, I'm going to control my risk, but I'm going to initiate some. So that's what I'm looking for, guys. That rolls over into the Qs as well, of course. Let's look at futures here. Yeah, we're really testing the 9 here in futures. But again, let's look at that, call it 229, 275 area as our inflection point. Guys, if we squeeze up through that around the open, then hey, I've got a list of a lot of things that I like. We did have some things closing below the 9. We've still got peg plays on the table. Power earnings gap, these are very hot right now. I did just make a video on the channel. Go check that out. Especially in tech, but this is a very hot model in this market right now, okay? Gaps are following through. Now, I don't want to chase, so I've got a very if this then that rule-based model for how to get involved in these power earnings gaps in this hot market. And then, of course, I've got the bread and butter triple R. I'm seeing some box breakouts, and I've even got some interest in some narrative plays right now. I'm keeping an eye on things. So listen, let's just jump right in. Before I get into individual names, I am checking ClearTape here, and we'll run over to the dashboard. And I want to know where strength is showing up first. I'm not trying to build a watch list from random tickers, okay? I want to gauge market breadth, find rotation, early flow, and leadership, and focus on that. Okay, so I'm looking for where money is already rotating, and if we do continue to pull back, I will have a very close eye here in ClearTape and see some of those sectors that are receiving that early flow. And as you can see here on the main dashboard, we've still got most sectors still hanging out down here and lagging. XLE is popping back up into improving. Now this has been a sector that's bouncing between leading and lagging, and it can account for some of the volatility in the markets. Of course, tech still leading everything higher. I mean, this move since March 30th has been led by tech, most other sectors lagging. Healthcare is one that, now this is the third heaviest weighted market cap sector in the market, so I don't hate to see some early strength popping there, as you can see, moving up into improving. And I've been noticing some signals the last few days. Now, this is end of day data. The market's closed. This thing runs 70,000 data points and presents the data, okay? Finds the leadership, helps you to spot rotation, and I've even got some things built into here where it automatically scans and finds my favorite models. I've got the Triple R and the peg play loaded into here already. More to come, of course, but guys, that is what I'm doing. I'm trying to spot rotation. So we'll come down here and see that, yes, cybersecurity has been so hot, so that's a signal I want to pay attention to. We've got copper and electrification. We can jump into the rotation tool now. I don't want to just see a hot sector. Of course, not every subsector within that is going to be participating. So that's what we can do here in the rotation tab, is go even deeper and see what are the real leading sectors or what is beginning to weaken or even start to lag. Now, tech remains strong. We did notice there that optical networking is a leading sector, okay, with broad sponsorship, and we want to be focused there. So some of the names leading that is COHR, Cisco. Cisco is a peg play qualifier we'll look at here in a moment. But we want to be looking at data center optical networking is what this is telling us here. And then the other was copper. So let's jump down. See if we've got, so copper electrification, FCX. Not a surprise there that that's the name we need to be focused on. So we'll go ahead and add that to our watch list and take a look at that here in a moment. So healthcare, cybersecurity, we'll take a look at. I know a lot of that is running away, but let's jump back over here to healthcare. And what I want to notice here, this is exactly what I mean here, you guys. So healthcare is improving, and you can see pharma is beginning to pop up into improving. We've got medtech trying to pop its head up above water there as well, but clearly over here is managed healthcare. So we want to be noticing that. We've got 5 names leading the move right here that we want to go focus on. And I touched on this last week. I'll just talk about a couple of them here. Now, what I do, of course, I'm using ClearTape to help me find these things and build a more purposeful watch list. But then, of course, I've got to, what's my entry? And I am a trend continuation trader. Okay, so Triple R is usually what I'm looking for. So, this thing gives me ideas, and I jump into the charts. And what do I see here? Well, I see a change of character, a little bit of accumulation, or a little bit of volume coming in. And what do I do now? Well, I wait for the next Triple R. At this point, this thing is really just running away. So it has changed character. I talk about this all the time on the channel, you guys. Let that happen. Okay, and then look for the first Triple R after, right? So this thing is running away, let it get back down below the 9, retest that change of character and confirm. And if it confirms, you're now in a high probability entry with a stop entry to our target. Okay, these things are going to work more often than not. Go look at this recent move in the market at how many things have changed character and retested that level in the first Triple R. I mean, all over the place, this is working. That is the world I want to live in. Probabilities more often than not, because it becomes a process. I need patience and a process. Okay, so if I have an edge where I know that if this then that, if I just do this, then that, okay, I buy the leaders when they go on sale. If they hold structure, I make money. The leaders hold structure more often than not. So go find the leaders, okay, and focus on them and trade trend continuation. If you're struggling in these markets, I promise you that will help you find your footing, okay? If you need help, if you want to learn how to read market breadth, build a proper risk profile so you can stay in the game until you do find that footing, I have a mentorship, I have a community, my friends. If you need help, do not let the market be your only teacher. But guys, I've got a watch list here. We'll look back here at ClearTape one more time and jump into the strategies, and we'll let this load. So this is scanning the leaders, right? This tool is not built to scan every stock in the market. There's identifiers, criteria that makes up leaders, and that is what this tool is pulling in, and it is now running the Triple R model against that, okay? So it's looking for those leaders that have recently closed below the 9, at least this past Friday, right? That closed below the 9, which means that I should have some of these things on watch for possible Triple R coming in early this week. So that has made my process so much easier to just have these here, right? And then I still go click through, hover over, you can check out the chart, but I mean, INTC is the first name right here. You guys, come on. RS leader here, hottest sector, first Triple R after the peg play, gap and go. I mean, guys, yeah, this is on watch. If the market squeezes up today, I am quite likely There's a few today that I do like, okay? And INTC is up there. You can see it retraced, closed below the 9. Had a nice little close there, right? It gapped down, sold off just a little bit, but pushed up at end of day there on Friday, guys, back over the 9. This is a textbook retracement reaction candle. Okay, so typically I say reaction, meaning it reacts off of a level, recent swing low, prior all-time high, support resistance, that kind of stuff. But a reaction candle is a qualifier for me as well. And you know, it did close red, but this is a hammer candle. It pushed down, got bought up into the close. So if this can continue and remount the 9 here today, then it's, I mean, about as simple as it gets for me. I'm going to swing this bat. And just know that more often than not that this is going to work, okay? So there is my entry stop to our target at least, and I am willing to live with the results of that trade. So for those of you that have not seen yet, you can add to your watch list here in ClearTape and then click watch list and export that directly into a TXT file, clicking this here, and then upload that directly into TradingView by hitting upload list. Just drop that right in there. So that's what I've got here, and let's just go ahead and click through it, you guys. And this is what I am looking at, what I am interested in here this week. So we've got laser, and look at this, guys. I mean, this is a leader holding structure in a trend, accumulation. It's got all of the stuff, okay? We got a bit of a sell-off in the market on Friday. That's why, like, don't let the noise, ignore the noise, okay? Trade the charts. The market has a lot of room to pull back and remain extremely bullish, okay? And if we squeeze up early this week, don't fight it. Don't fight it. I'm talking to me, okay? Y'all, you do you. I will not fight it. And I look for things like this where you see when these things pull back, they react off a structure, remount, the short-term retracement, reaction, remount to our targets coming off of that. So this thing has gotten itself through earnings, okay? Going a bit sideways, tried to pull back through Friday's high on this with the market also, you know, maybe getting through the futures high of day. Guys, if the market's hot, this has a good look. All right, we've got FCX. Remember, we saw that copper electrification is getting some flow, some early accumulation signals there. So, guys, this is hanging out right above all-time highs. Okay, we got our move coming. You know, the whole market pushed up. This thing pulled back, retested that breakout area, held it, and is pushing back up higher, pulling back again. If this sets us high or low, I like it through Friday's high with a good, clean stop, guys. I'm willing to swing the bat at this kind of stuff and live with the results. You know, you guys in Bootcamp, you know what's up, but I do want to continue. I'll always repeat myself because I do the same things over and over and over again. That's what a process and an edge is built from, guys. So we've got form here. This is pulling back into the 50, getting a big volume right off of it. So you get a retracement reaction off of the 50 back over the 9. That is on watch. We've got POWI here. Look at this reaction candle. This is the first triple R setup, okay? Possible triple R entry or trigger off of this major rip coming on volume, got through earnings. Guys, this is very, very attractive, okay? So again, the trade would look something like this, okay? Set your 2R target right about there. You are looking for all-time highs, I do believe. Yep, all-time highs there in Powell. This is HLIO. HLIO is a peg play candidate. And let's move our fixed range volume profile. Guys, peg play video, one of the more recent videos on the channel. Go watch it. You'll see what I'm looking for here. But basically, I want price above an upsloped anchored VWAP and above the point of control in the fixed range volume profile. And yeah, guys, this is attractive, hanging out right at all-time highs, holding the gap level. Yeah, man, if the market goes today, this could be quite attractive up through about 78. Make sure that anchored VWAP is sloped upward. VECO, I don't know what they do, but it is AI related. So look, same deal, guys. We're hanging out right up here around all-time highs. All right, it's holding its gap level, getting a little bit of volume there on Friday when it tried to gap us down. Nice strong close there. So make sure that anchored VWAP begins to slope up. Let's get rid of that other one. And yeah, this is quite attractive, okay? Could be quite attractive, maybe above that 60-50 area. Might need to get up over 61 to really get that anchored VWAP to begin to slope upward, which I do require. RSI is another one here, same model, okay? This is a peg play model, but there's a couple of other things here that are attractive for me on RSI. But look at this thing on the weekly, you guys. Giant IPO cycle breakout. All right, this thing has been holding structure quite well through its rounding bottom. All the accumulation starts to come in. Guys, this is very, very attractive, okay? So yeah, we just start to look for entries, right? So I have a few different ways that I can play this. when you get that IPO breakout, and it was a peg play that caused it. So now you let it pull back. Okay, so it's pulling back, retesting the area. So this could be a triple R trigger. It could be a peg play trigger. Let's go back to the daily here, right? So same deal. We want it above an upsloped anchored VWAP and above that point of control. That would align very closely with a triple R. So it's a IPO cycle box breakout, triple R, and peg play aligning all in one, and something that is surely being accumulated. I like this quite a bit, you guys. All right, I'd like to find a way into this. I don't see a need to go through everything here, but a couple more. I've been looking at the steel trade. This really ripped alpha of March 30th and went sideways, popped up a little bit, now getting us an opportunity here down below the 9. This is on watch. I think a triple R in steel, it'll have my attention. Okay, I'll consider it. Cummins is one that I just want to have on watch here. I'm surprised I've never seen this, but this came to my attention here on the Cyclone tool, which this thing is putting some fantastic names on my radar. You guys, this is really just tracking some of the strongest names in the market. I'm talking trend integrity, accumulation signals, relative strength. These are some of the strongest companies in the markets, and of course, I want to look for the next triple R on these things. So CMI being one of them, and that is where that idea came from, is that Cyclone tool. Look guys, look at all the triple R's in this thing all the way up. The weekly is really attractive. I mean, just really beautiful as you zoom out here. So yeah, this is a leader in a trend backed by growing fundamentals, showing me the ability to hold, respect structure, follow through. Okay, so yeah, I'm interested in Cummins if it can. It's got a little more work to do. Did we technically close? No, we did not. So I require a close below the 9. But if this thing can pull back, if the market pulls us back just a little bit, I'd love to see a reaction maybe at or around that level. That would be fantastic. And maybe even the 50 is supportive at that point. So guys, something may be coming here in the near future. CASY is one, same exact thing that came from the Cyclone tool. I've never seen this company. I can't catch them all. But now I've got this tool that is helping me do so. But I mean, you want to know what the triple R is, look at the CASY chart, weekly, monthly, daily, I don't care. This is the kind of stock that I want to be trading. And we did get a close below the 9. Now, listen, this thing has just been going up. I would like a little bit more of a pullback, but frankly, this is a chart that triple R's work on more often than not. So I may consider swinging the bat. It's just, I would love to see a little bit more of a pullback on this thing and get the next triple R. But if it's going to stay tight, very similar to what it did right here, guys, CASY's a very, very strong trending follow through leader. All right. Another peg play candidate there, another possible triple R here, retracement. If we get a reaction, what's the area? Prior highs, guys. Reaction at or around the level, remount of the 9 would be attractive. AAON is a peg play candidate. All right. Nice tight little flag here on the peg gap up. Nice close on Friday, guys. This one's attractive. All right, I'd say probably through Friday's high, with the market doing the same, is going to be attractive. The market doesn't need to get through Friday's high, but look at futures, okay? High of day on futures, if the market opens above that, I think we may squeeze things out, guys. So that's where my focus is today, guys. Leadership, keeping an eye out to see if we get rotation. Now, I have been defensive. Tool tells me to be, okay? But I have been defensive for many things, guys. Here's one of the main things. Tech has been leading us up. I expect a pullback in the market. I am not saying it's over, okay? It would be healthy even to pull back even more, but it's things like this, the cumulative AD to advanced decline, stocks advancing versus declining. Guys, this has been pulling back for a while now as the market goes higher. That is a divergence that you must notice. It means that we don't have full participation. We're being led up by a pocket of the market. That screams caution for me. Wait for that to change. So when the market does pull back, okay, even more I would like to see at some point, you want to see that focus disperse into other sectors, and when that happens, you'll see it very clearly in something like the cumulative AD or the percent above, below the 50 and 200-day moving average. Guys, we're more than half the stocks in the S&P 500 are below their 50-day again. So guys, caution. Okay, caution, wait for some of these breadth signals to begin to reverse. We've got the McClellan here signaling caution as well. Okay, we've got narrowing leadership, and I'm going to be cautious until I see that change. Now, How do we spot that live in the moment? A few ways, guys. So you can be watching, obviously you've got the main indexes, SPY and the Qs, but those can be misleading because they're weighted, right? So there could be a divergence where the SPY is going higher, 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 but look at the RSP. This is another way to have been spotting this divergence for weeks now, and why I've not been overly aggressive. The SPY is all the way up here. RSP is going sideways, even pulling back. So we want to see that change. We'd really like to see this swing low in the RSP hold and it remount the 9. Triple R on the RSP, okay? If that happens today out of the gate, pay attention. Same thing with IWM. We want to see IWM triple R again. Look for triple R's in the indexes, the equally weighted, stuff like that. It suggests broad positioning. And then, of course, you have always got your market internals that you can watch as well. And we want to see really the opposite of what we saw late in the week, okay? So we want to see more stocks advancing versus declining, and we would like to see, obviously, the up-down volume here going upward, getting above the zero line. This is measuring the pulse of the market right now. So I build my plans over in ClearTape, right? I look for the strength and leadership, the rotation signals, and build my watch list. And when I do begin to see triggers, I'm rolling over here to internals and making sure that that strength is broad. I want to see the whole market getting bought up, all right? I want the full momentum of the market behind my positioning. There is also a video, do WarrenSnax market internals on YouTube. You need to watch that video. It is important. These charts are included in it. I'm excited about the week ahead. We don't have too much economic calendar data or announcements to be worried about. Let's just see what the market does here. If we can get a triple R on the RSP, the IWM, and we get back above the futures high here on the Sunday overnight level, guys, I expect a bit of a squeeze, so I'm going to be watching very closely. I might even go live if things really feel like I'm going to press buttons today. I will let you know that in chat, but stay safe, manage your risks. Let's go make some money.